If you get this quick, jeepers, we missed it. Okay, I was trying to show you right here that both Kirsten and Simon were heading due east on the previous 4-hour track, but it just rolled over as we opened up. I should have opened up a little bit earlier, but anyway, they're still going. Funny one, they're going east northeast, and I'll explain a bit more of that in a minute because that's a bit of a development which plays into the hands of Abolish. So the predictions on Friday, who knows where they'll be. Anyway, before we go down that track, I just thought I'd just tell you about Puffin. You probably noticed that the signal's gone on Puffin, and we're not sure whether the boat sunk or whether it's a technical issue, but we're chasing it down. The trackers meant to be updating, regularly. We changed it up. We ramped it up to an hour, just see every hour to see if we could boot something in, but it's not happening. So whether Puffin's afloat or not, we're not sure. We're looking at the back end of the system with Yellow Brick. We've sent them a message and said, look, what's happening here? There's still some rumblings from some people thinking they can maybe get out there and grab the boat or whatever. So we'll let you know, but there's no confirmation the boat has sunk. But at the moment, it appears we're not getting a signal, and we'll look into that. The other one, I'll just show you this. Jeepers, wrong one. Hopefully, not sure what they did. Okay, picture that Ian sent out. A lot of you would have already seen it. It was he put it up on Facebook. It's the captain of the Yo Da Wang. Okay, and in English, some people will say that Zha Dai Wang, but Jane tells me no, it's the Yo Da Wang. Yu Da Wang. Okay, that's how you say it. That's the ship. And the captain's name is, boy, I'm dyslexic anyway, so, and I hate doing this, but Hisa Shi Hung on the bridge of the boat. And he's being well and truly looked after by the crew. He feels like he's one of the crew. You can't thank him enough. A lot of hospitality there. And the latest is we thought they were going into Cape Town to drop him off and then carry on, but they are actually going in to take bunkers now or fuel up. So, and Ian's still got his passport, so he'll get off the ship and still around about the 20th, so in a few days. And we'll hear some more later on from there. But yeah, thanks again to everyone, all the rescue authorities, Taiwanese government who got onto the ships, and then all the 3 fishing boats that went there and all that sort of stuff. So all very good outcomes. So anyway, so what's happening here now? I've got to tell you, I went on to the windy weather just to see what was going on, because I didn't think, what? When I saw the guys heading out to the east, and I'll explain all that in a minute. So now onto the tracker, and we'll go to the back end at the moment. Keep the juicy bits till last. So Jeremy just trucking along in his trade winds there, enjoying the ride, probably reading whatever books he's got left. And sea state's down low. He's still doing 5.3 knots, 113 nautical miles in the last 24 hours. It's very respectable. So yeah, having quite a bit of fun and enjoying the ride. Anyway, not quite in the doldrums yet. And in fact, let's look at the leaderboard while we're here, just to see what's happening there. No, Kirsten's still holding her own. Must be getting very close. Okay, we're talking about the leaders again already. So Kirsten is now still in the lead technically. Okay, and did 99 nautical miles in the last 24 hours. She's got 1,431 nautical miles to go. And this is interesting. Ablish has only got 1,417 nautical miles to go. So technically, that should have swapped over. Distance to the finish. Ablish is closer, but he's still ranked as second. Right, that'll cause a stir, because I was about to say that on the course she's a little bit behind Abolish now, and that's even showing up in the statistics. So I think what it is, in fact I know what it is, Kirsten's been sitting there number one for so long, they can't undig it and move it around, but it looks like Abolish now is technically in the lead. And Goog has got 2,702 nautical miles to go, so he's still trucking along 67 nautical miles in the days, trying to hold up to windward. And let's look at Chichester class. So Simon's got 1,298 to go. Jeremy's got 3,573 nautical miles to go, showing an ETA 22nd of May, which could be close to what the reality is. But anyway, and Simon still looking like he might get in first. So let's look at what the trade winds do here. If we sneak it forward a day or so, it's just virtually identical to what he's got now. Another day or so, that's a couple of days, it starts to pick up in strength. So by the third day, he's got stronger wind from the southeast, and 3 days out, that's going to be about 350 miles maybe. He'll be just about out of it. By then, he'll be just as that's kicking in behind him, 350 miles. And then get rid of this. Then he's just about on the equator. So 3 to 4 day 3, day 4, no, end of day 3. So during day 4, he'll probably cross the equator. And if you look at that, that's not very wide. At that stage, it's only 200 miles across the doldrums, which is pretty radical. Very easy. So he may get a quick ride across there, which would be keep him very happy for sure. So we'll get rid of that, and then we'll come down here and see Goog. He's actually not very far behind Goog. Let's have a look for interest's sake. He might have picked up a bit of time there because Goog had some challenges going through the doldrums. Let's just see what he is here. 1,200 miles behind Goog. That's not too bad. He might have picked up a little bit there. Anyway, so I was surprised with Goog, 67 nautical miles. I think in the last 24 hours, I think it's a combination of a few things. This is the rum line where they take the measure from, so there's a distance made good. He's holding very high, I think. He's doing 5.2 knots. I would have thought he would have covered a bit more ground because the breeze is still there, and it's still northeasterly. So again, trade wind sailing, very benign, but when you get into this lot, it's bouncing around because forward of the beam, water all over the deck. I talk about it a lot. That's on the 18th. And if we come through to the 19th, that's day 2. Trade winds again, still sitting there. And we'll just go to day 3. Day 3, trade winds again. So he's got at least 3 days of the constant trades before it gets a bit. Well, you've got 4 days there, but look at this. He's got quite a way to go, 480 miles. So we'll just see what it looks like for day 4. There it is there. Still fine. He's in the trades for 4 days, and then he'll have this high here, or something that's forming up anyway. So Goog's pretty happy. No bad reports on anything there. So what's going on here, you might ask? Not a good look at all for some. So, but it's better going northeast than east. Okay, so here's the weather now, and it's very unusual to say the least when you look at what's going on. And first thing that happens is when I see Simon and Kirsten working in tandem. In other words, when they were going east, they were heading this way. Simon went and Kirsten went. It says local weather. So I had a look at windy, which gives you a little bit better indication. But even now, you're starting to see something here. I'll just show you. There's this little anomaly that went through, this one here. And you can see that this westerly came through, and it's coming down to northwest. Well, about midnight or 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock UTC this morning, there was a distinct hollow here with very light winds and a real hook that's coming boom, boom. So they were getting northerlies. And in fact, if they were going east, I'd suggest it was even east of north. They were getting local weather, very light. And if we blow that up, you can see their track there. What's been happening? They've been sailing this. You look at Kirsten. I mean, she was going fine, heading up like this, and slowly she had to peel out. She had to come around here, and then all of a sudden she's going east, and it's like, what? And that would have been the breeze coming from either north or slightly east of north, but very light, because you can see here, each one of these diversions is 4 hours. So there's one there, and she was sailing pretty well. And then all of a sudden, bang, in 4 hours, I'll blow this up again to explain what happens here. You can forensic analysis of the track. You can see bang at that point. She slowed down because she's done all that distance, and then boom, she went there to there. So I can give you a distance on that from there to there. It was 12 miles over 4 hours. So it's only 3 knots. Okay. and she had to alter course. And then this is when she was facing the other way. For 4 hours, she did 2.85 knot for 0.85 knots. So it's only 3 miles, less than 3 miles. So in 4 hours, so she's doing less than a knot. And you can see she's got to go this way to just keep moving because the wind was coming down here somewhere. But if she only knew that the wind is on this side, they could have gone the other way and tacked across and gone back this way. So I don't know. Anyway, and then in the last 4 hours till 8 o'clock this morning, that's it there, and that's where you get the speeds from. So she's now moving. They've done 61 nautical, distance. So they've done 23 miles in 4 hours. So 24, so 6 fours are 24, so about 6 knots. So she took off at some stage, but now she's going northeast. That's really all they can do. But it tells me, first of all, that the weather graphic that we're seeing here is not quite what they would probably be getting, because I'm sure Kirsten, I would think that she'll still be making for north here. I'm not sure, trying to get a bit of north, and but 6 knots is a fair bit of breeze there. She's doing 6 knots, so I don't know, but she's tacking less than or sailing less than 90 degrees to the wind. I would have thought she'd be coming up to 70 degrees maybe, and still trying to get up to the Azores, but they're not. So anyway, we'll come back to the big picture and what's happened to Kirsten. Exactly the same thing has happened to Simon. And again, or if there for Simon, even now on the weather, you can see this stuff happening because there's the breeze, there's the gradient there, and that's assuming this image is correct. And when I went on to windy, there was a real hollow at one point where there was no wind, and it was actually coming direct north, and they were on the edge of that. So that's where Simon's gone boom, 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 and they're heading out this way because they figure if they go the other way, they're not heading. It's even further away from Les Sables d'Olonne. So the weather is effectively forcing them to take a course which is away from the preferred place you want to be with the big picture weather. And I'll explain that here. Here you can see there's less wind. It's in between the two systems here. There's less wind there. Avalish is now looking in a prime position because he's got this big flow. So he's flying. He's doing 6.6, and it's not likely to change for the next few days. So that's why these two are heading out there. And you can see what I was going to say. That's why I was surprised on the leaderboard. I was sure I was going to say, oh, Avalish is in the lead. And I said, what? But now there's a problem with the tracker board. He is closer to Les Sables d'Olonne than Kirsten is. And you can see even on the course, there it is there. So there's the general heading that you want to go towards Les Sables d'Olonne. And if you draw a line at 90 degrees to that, Avalish is just maybe a little bit further ahead than Kirsten. But believe me, game on. There's still Kirsten and Avalish are right in the game. And that's not even including the time difference, because she's got a whole day difference. Now, a day with no wind, you're only going to cover 12 miles, but a day with wind, you're going to cover 120 miles, something like that. So Kirsten's still got a bit up her sleeve, and it's going to be a nail biter, because let's watch what happens now with the weather. And I'm going to leave it up on this big scale so you can see the weather systems developing. But just now imagine Avalish in plenty of breeze up there, and Kirsten, in fact, I'll take it up one more and see if that does the same thing. No, it doesn't. I'll take it down. I'm going to leave it at that because you get a better impression of what's happening, because I'm going to go long range stuff as well. So right now, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 12 hours ahead. And what you see is the breeze is coming over both Kirsten and Simon, but it's getting a bit of north in it, a bit more north than just northwest. Okay. Maybe it is better up higher to show you this. If you're on a phone, it's probably a nightmare. You can see here it's coming down and it's rolling where Simon is, but they'll be a bit further ahead. Okay, but it's getting lighter, and it's also getting a bit lighter for Avalish, but he's got plenty there to start with, so it's not going to affect his boat speed. He'll have his secret sail up for sure. And then you'll see it's now getting a little bit lighter for Avalish, but not much, because he's now gone ahead. In fact, I'll take this out. That's day 18, so that's a bit more than 24 hours. So his position now is going to be 24 hours. He'll do 120 miles. he'll be like this. He's still in the breeze. He's about there. And see what's happened to Kirsten and Simon. They're running out of breeze. This trough has come across. So that move that he made going north a couple of days ago was actually good because it kept him up in the breeze. But how long is that going to last? So we get rid of that. Now I'm going to walk it through again to get it to day 2. It's moving over pretty quick, but it's still going to, they're really slow. So day 2 is very slow for Kirsten and Simon, and I'd say that's going to give Abolish at least 100 miles advantage, at least 100 miles difference. So now there's 24 hours. Okay, so 24 hours. Where's Kirsten going to be in 24 hours? That's 48 hours from where the current position is, and she went nowhere for a day. So I think she's going to be about here. So hopefully she doesn't go any further to the east. If she does, she'll sit in this hole for longer. But if she continues on approximately that course, which she should do, she's going to be about here at that stage. So just directly above Simon. Simon would have moved up as well, but she might actually gain a bit on Simon because she's a little bit further to the east. But that's irrelevant because Simon's Chichester, blah, blah, blah. So at that stage, if Kirsten is there, where's Abolish going to be? He's going to be 250 miles in front. He's going to be right up here, I reckon, getting a big kick from this breeze. He'll be over here somewhere. So you've now, in the big picture, hang on, I'll go the other way. You can see at the end of day 2, Abolish is going to be sitting about there, and Kirsten's going to be way back here. So he's got to jump. He might have picked up that day of compensation. Okay, so that puts him in a pretty good position. And then what's going to happen to the weather going forward? So here we go. We'll go to day 3. So Abolish has got a kick, and both Simon and Kirsten are going to get this gradient, so they'll be flying again. So there's that one day on day 2 where Abolish is going to gain another 100 miles, but then they'll all be sailing. Kirsten will be going for it. That's her kind of weather, and she'll be driving harder than Abolish at that stage, I think. It's a bit hard to say because they're all going to get a fair bit of breeze on day 3. 17, 18, 19, 17, 18, 19, 20. Day 3. So generally they've got good breezes, so they're in amongst all this stuff. So they're still sailing towards Les Sables d'Olonne at quite good timelines. So that's going to keep the ETAs still running at the end of the month. So there's the 20th gone through. We're into the 21st. By then they're still in this breeze area here, so they're all still sailing at 120 mile days, maybe even more. For the 20th, 21st, they've still all got breeze in the right direction, so they're all in amongst this stuff here. So that's all cool. So they're streaming towards Les Sables d'Olonne, and again, even there. Okay, so this is. I'm just going to backtrack a bit to see roughly their position. Oh, that's jumping ahead. Once you get up there, it jumps really fast. Boom, boom. Here we go. Back a bit, 21st. So that's 4 days. So 4 days ahead, they're going to be 500 miles ahead. So let's just see roughly where they're all going to be. Yeah, 500. They'll be in amongst this lot here. Okay, at that time. So you see the speeds are good. ETAs are still looking good to Les Sables d'Olonne. And that's 21. 22, they've still got breeze. 23, they're starting to come to the edge of that, which is they're going to be right in here somewhere. And then there's going to be winners and losers, I reckon. Assuming this all stays the same, they might slow up a bit. And then you've got a nice breeze. They've got to get across this lot somewhere. This is way ahead, but just to show you what's happening. So I'll just click through here. Generally, this headwind is coming out really fast. It's not in that direction for very long, so it might push them a little bit high, but generally it's looking very good for the final approach to Les Sables d'Olonne, because even here you can see they wouldn't push to windward on it, but it's turning really quickly, and this is right through the 26th. It'll be 4 days away by then. So and it's starting to roll around. So anyway, it's going to be a nail biter. That's all I really need to say. but certainly in the next 48 hours, I think you're going to see Abolish jump quite substantially. So, what will be the projection on my prediction on Friday? Who knows? But Abolish is looking pretty good at the moment. Okay, that's it. So, we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks very much.